Sharyn Sheldon here from Content Sparks, and welcome to our two-part training today on the new course called Stand Out in a Crowded Market. And then I'm also going to be going through a demo of how to record and edit your course videos using Descript. That's the tool that I've been using all the time now because it's just so easy. I don't always use it to record, but I'm going to show you how you can record into it really easily, or you can just import a recording as well. I'm going to start with an overview of the new course. I'm going to walk you through just the core materials that you need and give you a quick glance at some of the others that you get as well, but the core ones that you need to use so you don't get overwhelmed in order to deliver this course. And then you can use Descript to record the videos. So if you have any questions along the way, just drop them in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, doesn't matter. I can see them. I'm using StreamYard to live stream this as well. Let's hop straight in. I'm going to share my screen and we'll start out. This is just the sales page on Stand Out in a Crowded Market. So if you haven't seen that yet, real simple URL, contentsparks.com/standout. Don't go over there now because we're going to be going through a bunch of stuff, but just know that that's there. And there's also a lot of information on that page, some details about the early bird, details about the launch, learning objectives, things that I won't necessarily go through in detail today, but it's information that's there. I will talk about this roadmap through the course, but there's also module descriptions and there are screenshots in here of all the materials that you can just kind of scroll through that if you want to see it as well. And a description of all the different materials you'll get, because I'm not going to show you absolutely all of them. Let's go back up to the roadmap. Now, the title of the course is called How to Stand Out in a Crowded Market, and there are 7 steps in here that you will take people through. This is all about revitalizing a business so that you can be different, stand out, convert more customers, because it's not just about delivering value. It's not like the Field of Dreams, build it and they'll come, or even just delivering a lot of value. You need to be different, stand out. And markets are more crowded than ever these days. There's more noise than ever these days. So if you have an existing business, no matter what stage it's at, you need to make sure that you figure out how to be different. And that can involve different approaches. So we go through those in the course. There's finding new opportunities for a smaller niche, it might be pivoting into a slightly different niche, refining your target audience persona, so not just sticking with the same audience as you currently use, looking for gaps in your existing offers, and also looking at your competitors. There's a great customer alignment matrix in here that I'll show you. Improving your current products and services, simplifying your sales and service processes, that's a way to stand out as well. And then you need to draft a new unique value proposition and create an action plan. Those are the 7 steps. And to teach all that, let me show you the materials you'll get, and then I can show you a high level of the actual actions. I want to focus here on the action steps that you'll have your students do in order to complete all these different modules, because that's what's key, having people actually take action. So the core materials you get that you want to make sure you provide to your students are the course book, or alternatively, the cheat sheet, which is an outline of the course book. The course book has everything. It's also the basis for your script, for your slides. You don't want to read it straight out loud, though we've kept it in a relatively professional and conversational tone, but you can use it as the basis because it guides through each of the modules. As I said, there's the 7 steps: identifying where you need to refocus, getting to know your customers better, identifying untapped opportunities, refreshing your offers, optimizing and enhancing your customers' experience, refining your messaging, and implementing an action plan. Those are the 7 steps. And you can see all the content is in the course book. including the action steps at the end of each of the modules. But the thing that goes along with that is this cheat sheet. So if you don't want to share the full course book with people, or you want to give them what we call the cheat sheet, there is this outline version as well. So you can just use that if you're in a rush and just want to do the minimum viable course to get out there. Use your slides to record video, use the cheat sheet as the outline, use the course book as your script guide, though that's under the slides as well. And of course, people need the action guide, which is in a separate folder. In the action guide folder, you've got your main action guide, and then there are 2 spreadsheets. You'll have to give people the actual spreadsheet because that's not something you can give as a PDF and have them be able to use it. You could put it into Google Sheets. It's a simple upload and add your branding that way, or do it as an Excel file. But the action guide, you'll convert any Word documents at all, or slides, convert to PDF. And that has a place for them to fill in answers for all the action steps for each module. For instance, they start with identifying where they need to refocus, and there are a number of questions along with that, like what are the consequences of the crowded market on your business? How do you view potential changes? Which product, services, or customer segments are driving the most revenue? These are all things that you want your students to look at in their business to really start figuring out where the issues are. How willing are you to make changes? That's an interesting question for them to really think about, because there are lifestyle issues in here as well. They can look at past attempts. This is all important stuff and insights to gain from the get-go. And in the very first module, the first step, which puts them in the right mindset for the rest of the course. There's also something in here for a SWOT analysis. That's the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And this is something where we also created a separate workshop that you can teach as a group or individual exercise. So if you have students or people in your audience who are not familiar with a SWOT analysis or never heard of it before, need more practice with the skills, grab that extra workshop. It shows up as an add-on on a suggested add-ons page after you add the course to your cart. And I can show you that a little bit later too, but it gives you the materials you need, including slideshow and some facilitator instructions for delivering that as a workshop with an exercise, a case study that, again, you can adjust to be more for your audience and your industry, their industry. So they do the SWOT analysis, set some SMART goals, and then they jump into the rest of the action steps, or the rest of the steps in the course, on the things they need to do to figure out how to stand out, getting to know their customers better. There's a bunch of different things in here, steps to take. They create a new customer persona. There's a template in here. And remember, these are things that some of these things you can pull out to do as separate little modules or workshops. So something like just getting to know your customers better, you can pull out and do as a separate little workshop. You don't have to deliver the whole course at once. I know a lot of our customers say they get overwhelmed, don't want to deliver a full big course. So you could pull something out and then add on afterwards, spread it out over the course of a few weeks or so. But also remember that people need to address their pain points, their challenges, as quickly as possible. Something like struggling in a crowded market, they want to come up with some strategies and tactics as quickly as possible so that they can recover sales, get some growth kick-started again. Some things take time to put into place, so they need to figure this out quickly. So don't spread it out too much. Just go for the bare minimum. Don't worry about doing tons of editing and customizations and fancy stuff, because people need the actual action steps. They care more about that. And the way to customize is to get yourself on video like this, and then they know it's a real person. It's different from what anyone else is teaching. Even if the information is similar, it's the way you teach it and the examples you give that make it unique. They'll get into identifying untapped opportunities, looking at competitors, how satisfied customers are, where there's some gaps, ways to refresh their offers. You can see they're taking a lot of notes on all of these different things, changes, timeline, resources, looking at their current customers' experience. Some of these things also you may notice if you have some of our other previous courses that you can expand on afterwards to make a bigger course. So something like optimizing and enhancing your customer's experience, you can have them focus here on small changes they can make to stand out better. But then you can also follow up with a course like the customer experience journey, where they look at their even more broadly than what they would do in this course. They'll look at this, refining the messaging. Again, this is something that's smaller, very targeted for this course on differentiating themselves. They probably already have some sort of unique value proposition, but they need to refine it. And this is something that your people should be doing on a regular basis, revisiting that unique value proposition. How are they different? How do they stand out? Because markets do change and what customers want changes pretty often, depending on what market you're in. There's some things that always stay the same, like people wanting to save time and make more sales, get more leads when it's on the business side of things, be more productive. Those are general, but where the competition is, the types of tools, especially with AI now, people have that on the top of their mind often, and you may need to refine the messaging in there as well and help them do that. And then the last step in here is implementing an action plan. So let me just show you what those other things are in here. Okay, in module 3, step 3, where they're identifying untapped opportunities, competitors, customer satisfaction, you have them use this customer alignment matrix. This is a really handy tool for you to use and guide them through. Again, something you can pull out and have them do as a separate little workshop, so long as you give them the context from the previous module. They list out their customer needs in one column, features and benefits of current offers, and then see where they're aligned between needs and offers. There's an example in here already filled in of what they need to do. This one is for an online learning platform. You can change the example to whatever makes sense for you, for your audience. This is one that we put in because you will probably be able to relate to it yourself. So you see a learning platform might have a comprehensive curriculum that aligns with a customer need of the desire for diverse learning topics. There's alignment. Need for engaging learning formats. That doesn't align with that, but it aligns with interactive learning tools. So you can start to see where there are gaps in here. And there's an example of analysis and potential gaps. And then there's a blank matrix. So that's one of the tools you're giving them, along with the action guide that they fill in for one of those steps. And the other tool you're giving them is this planner, and that's what they come away with. You have them complete by the end of the course. It's called the Standout Planner. Rename it whatever you want. And it has them go through each of the 6 steps, and they identify quick wins and the main tasks with deadlines, and then longer term things. Because like I said, some of these things take time to put into place, but you want them to identify some quick wins right away that'll get them recharged and their business really differentiated more straight away. And there's that for each one of the steps. That action guide and those tools are going to show you right away what you're going to have people do. That, the slides, the cheat sheet are the core things for delivering this course. Now, let's hop over to those slides, because that's, like I said, the other core part of the course. They're in a folder in the instructor materials called Slideshow. And you've seen the action guide and some of those steps. The slides match up with the course book. It's all simple, ready for you to brand. And each one's set up the same way. It all works together in alignment so that you can see exactly how each module works. Some of the modules, that we do are often broken down into lessons, and some don't require them to be broken down into lessons. You see the SWOT analysis was one part. I mentioned that there's that separate workshop that you can run, and I can show you that later. But here you can just see, glancing through all the different content in the slideshow. It's all straightforward. We use this smart art in here because it's PowerPoint, but you can also do it with just straight graphics as well. And we give you these in a separate PowerPoint file where it's not smart art, because I know not everyone uses smart art. And you'll also notice underneath each of these slides, I mentioned there's speaker notes. That's text from the course book that you can use as your guide for your script. Use that again as your guide, but try to do it in your own voice, as natural as possible. I did another demo for you of generating this as an AI voice so that you could do a voiceover for your slides and record it that way if you're really uncomfortable speaking these things out loud. The way you would do that, just follow that video tutorial. It's on our blog on doing an AI voiceover, but edit it first to, again, sound like you. And you'll see again, there's the action steps at the end of each. The other thing is just to note that we also give you lead generation materials in here. Now, this is for building your audience of people who want to buy the course. It's not the course itself. This is a separate set of materials. In this case, it's a challenge. It's a 5-day challenge. We give you different types of lead generation materials depending on the course and what we think will make the most sense for generating leads and building your audience. A lot of people like these 5-day challenges. If you want something smaller, then you could also pull out one of these little modules, or as an early bird bonus, we also give you a tech toolkit, which helps guide people through picking the tools that they would want to use to enhance the customer experience. That's another option. But here it's a challenge, and we give you the daily emails and a slideshow so you can do little mini videos or live streams and also send out emails. There are 5 different steps in here for the 5 days: identifying an underserved niche, facing your unique skills, offering unique product, implementing customer feedback loop, and assessing your mindset. There's some similarities to the course, but on a much smaller scale, so that they get some quick wins at the end of each day, and then they're ready to sign up for the whole course. This could even be a paid challenge or a really low ticket price so that you know you have buyers. Just note that for when you want to build your audience for the course. And the easiest way to sell your course is always to build your audience first. That's why we have a lot of lead magnets that relate to some of our courses. Most of the courses have something. You'll also get some sales page copy, which you can use as a starting point. And then I mentioned on a suggested add-ons page, after you add the course to the cart, there are some other things. There's some quizzes, module quizzes. Those are things that you would add inside your course platform. Most course platforms have that. These are all multiple choice, but there are also true false ones. Even the most basic course platform should have that option to do a multiple choice or true false question at the end. We've given that all to you with the answers. And then there's that SWOT analysis workshop, which is another add-on. That is everything in the core materials. Let's go back now to the instructor materials. Now, I'm going to show you how to record and edit them in my favorite tool, which is called Descript. If you want to take a look at that straight away, contentsparks.com/Descript. Very easy again to remember, but you don't need to go over there now. Let's take a look at it first. What I'm going to do is first show you the slideshow as you would get it. It's ready to brand, ready to add your elements to it. And there are a few ways that you can record these for videos and then edit them in Descript, or record them directly in Descript. Now, if you want to do it in PowerPoint, what you can do is break them up so that each module will be a separate video, right? And again, I have a tutorial on that. You would just speak through each one of the slides and then finish it up and then move on to the next one. You can also do it in Canva, same thing, break it up module by module, put it into Canva, and then record it right in Canva. Those are two very simple ways to record your videos. Another option is to use a screen capture software. And then you really don't need to break it up. You can just speak through as you're recording, speak through one full module, and then just stop your screen recording. That's another great way, very easy. Then you don't have to break up into separate modules. That's the way I typically do it because I'm lazy. I don't want to break it up. You do some editing first. The way to break it up most easily is to just save it as another name. So I would just go File, Save As, so that you're not overwriting your original materials, and call it whatever it is you want to call it. Say I have demo intro. I'm just going to do the intro. I'm going to save that so that I have the new name. And then I'm going to go to the end of this intro and just delete all the rest of it because I only need the slides. So Control Shift to highlight them all and delete. And now I only have the slides I need for the intro. And that's it. I would save that. And then you can go in and do whatever edits. You can add your image in there, a headshot. You can add a design, like one of the ones that's built in. You can look in the designer tab in here in PowerPoint. They often give you some suggestions of things you can do and use those as well, and just go through and make a few simple changes to that. And I'll show you the example that I did. In this one, I made a few changes where I added my image and made some other edits. And then when you're all done and you have just those slides, again, you can record right there in PowerPoint. Follow one of my tutorials for that. It's just the recording tab, recording from the beginning, making sure you have your audio going into Canva. You would go into, and once you have your slides set up, you just take that. I've got the intro, and you would drag and drop it into Canva, just on the home page of Canva, and then open it up. Just click on it to open it up, and you can start playing around with that. Canva has also layout suggestions that are somewhat good, sometimes not good. I noticed that they've improved it a little bit, but they give you some ideas. For instance, here you'll see if you go into design and layouts, it'll give you some ideas, and you would just replace the current page, maybe make the text a bit bigger on sections that are too small, and then go through slide by slide and see what kind of things it suggests or that you would add to it. You can see it gives different suggestions. It's now giving suggestions with images as well, which is kind of cool. It hasn't done that before. Every time you go into any of these tools, their AI improves. This is all AI driven on here and is better than it used to be. So for instance, here's the test that I did where you can see it was giving some different things in here. And the way to record this in Canva, if you want to do your recording that way, is you go into share and then you go into to present and record, and you can go to the recording studio. And that's where you can have no camera, with camera, microphone, and then you just start recording. And once it's done, you can export that as a video. Now, the third way where we're going to talk about Descript is recording it directly in Descript or editing it in Descript. If I open up Descript now, you're going to have a home page that looks kind of like this after you add even more videos. When you get started, it'll be blank, obviously. And you'll see I've set up some demos, but first I'm going to show you how you can do your recording in Descript. You would start a new project and you'd want to do a video project. It's going to give you some options. You can upload a file. So if you've recorded your video in PowerPoint or Canva or some other screen recording or other type of software, you can take that file and just drag and drop it into here or upload it. That's one way. And then let it transcribe it. You'll end up with a transcription. I'll show you what that looks like. Otherwise, you can click record so that you record right into it. Make sure you give it a title, like I'm going to say here, test. It's showing this on my other screen. And then you can say camera, screen. So you could record something with just you on the camera, and then say you have your slideshow recorded separately, put that in as well afterwards. You can break it up into different scenes and combine things in here really easily. Or you can just do screen recording, and I can have my camera turned off because I'm already using it, so I can't use it here anyway. Computer audio disabled, what that does is if you're playing anything in the background, like some music, or you have some system sounds, or for example, if I wanted to demo the video to you and you actually be able to hear it at the right volume level, I would need to have that enabled. Otherwise, any sound that the computer, your system makes, isn't going to show up, and you don't want it to. In this case, I've got the computer audio disabled and the camera disabled. I only have my microphone. And then you would record into script. What that means is it will transcribe everything that you say, and then you'll easily be able to edit that just as you would in a Word document. It also means you can easily edit and have the captions be precise. So I would just click record into script, and it's saying drag to record part of the screen, press space to record the full screen. So I might just have my slideshow there. You're just seeing this now. And I could click record. It's going to start recording just that portion. I'm not sure what's going to happen actually right now, since I am doing this live stream at the same time. It looks like it might record it right into there. But what I would do is make sure I had my slideshow open, and I would just highlight the slideshow and be able to follow my notes underneath it and talk through them all, and then click stop. Hopefully you can see that it actually recorded and it transcribed what I was saying. You can see what it was saying in there. But let me show you what that looks like on an actual recording. I'm going to go back to my home button, and let me show you this demo I did. What I did here is what I just showed you, only I had the slides showing, and I just highlighted the screen where I had the bit of the screen where I had the slides, and I had my notes visible to me underneath it, or you could have it in a separate document. And it recorded the video and it recorded everything I said. Now we get to the editing stage. That was it. All I did was highlight the screen, talk through it. I can add some on-camera stuff afterwards, but I can jump straight into editing right here. And you can skim through different text. You'll see these are dots here. That's often where there are pauses. When you're speaking through your slides, if there's something you messed up, just pause for a little bit and then say it again, and that way you'll find it in here right away. I can read through that, but there's a quick way, if I know there's no mess ups, for me to edit out all those pauses in Descript. And that's in this bit on the right. There's something that you can kind of see behind my logo called Underlord. I'm going to open that up, and there's a bunch of different options in here. There's edit for clarity, studio sound, gets rid of background noise. It works really well if you have any kind of background noise. It does a phenomenal job. Remove filler words, so things like and the higher your paid plan is, the more it will remove, the more choices. I don't have a very high level plan for this. I don't need one. I have just the first level of paid plan, and that's been plenty for me. But it will remove those automatically, highlight them for you. Remove retakes. I haven't tried yet. They're always adding something. But shorten word gaps. It's identified 57 places where I paused it. And you can set 0.3 seconds or more, how much to shorten. And I can just click shorten all. And it will go through and see how fast that was. It got through all of the different spaces in there. And the same with the filler words. I can go in and remove filler words. I only had one because I was reading basically from a script. So I don't have the uhs and the ums. And I can just remove that. It will highlight it. I can actually go through and find it. I could just remove that. Done. You can see how easy it is to edit in here. You can also, if you're going to be using captions, change any text in here. For instance, it says I'm Sharyn Sheldon. I just highlight it, click correct, and put in the right spelling of my name, click enter, done. Skim through that. And then of course you would play it and look for any places where you want to make any changes or even separate something. All you do is put a slash and it then breaks it up. That's an example of something you can do. Then you're all edited. You can just leave it like that and generate and publish it and download it. Very simple. Or what's a great way to make this more unique and more personal is to add an on-camera intro. The way to do that is to go up to the very beginning. And you know how I showed you how to do that slash to start a new scene? You can do that at the very beginning, and you'll see you have options to add file. So if you record yourself on camera, say on your phone or some other software, or you just have another section you want to add, you can do that, drag and drop it just like you did before. Or you can record right into the script. There's an option for AI speech as well where you could give it some text, but I really don't like that because I don't think the AI speech is up to par. It will be eventually, I'm sure, but it's always better to sound like yourself. So to record into it, you would just click record, and you can again pick different things. I would pick, say, the on camera, click record, and start speaking. Now, I'm already on camera for you, so I'm not going to do that here, but I'll show you the end result. It will put it right in there in that first one, and it will transcribe it just like we showed you. So let me show you the demo of that. Here you can see it's two scenes. I did what I showed you before, which is just add that slash and start recording. So I could even do it again. And you see that record, and I'd pick the camera, but I don't want that. So I'm just going to highlight it and delete it. And then I would go in and edit this. For instance, there's a gap there. I could do that manually, highlight it. I could get rid of the so, because I tend to say so all the time, and continue on through. And then it comes to the next section where it went to the slides. When you have two sections like that, one thing you want to do is put a fade in so it goes to the next section. In here, what I can do is go into elements, scene. You highlight the bit that says scene. You go into transitions, and I can transition in or out. I want to fade out. And then what will happen is when I get to the very end here, let's see if you can see this. And get started. Welcome to How to See, and it just faded out and went into the next section. So that's a really quick, easy way for you to add a quick little on-camera bit at the very beginning of any slideshow. Record a section of your screen just to do your slides, stop, go back in and edit, maybe add a little intro with that on camera and that transition at the end. The last thing you might want to do before you publish this for your course platform is to add captions. And that's another thing you can do in Descript quite easily. There's one on the right that says captions, and it'll give you some different formats like the classic karaoke format. It will start applying the layout, and it will use all this text for your captions. That's why you want to go in and edit this as best you can. But again, you're doing all in one place, which is really nice. And you can see it's added it. I can move it around. I can change the font to something like blue or stick with that other color. There's lots of different things you can do. You can do a background. You could add a block behind it and play with that a little bit. And you can see it's put the captions everywhere there in that scene only. Let me go to the next scene so you can see that. Okay. Now you can see in here, it has not put captions in. I don't recommend putting in captions when you have slides that have text on them. I find it very distracting, but that is an option as well. Once you've broken things into scenes like that, you will need to put the captions into each one. Otherwise, do it all at once. And then you're done and you're ready to publish it. I'm not going to publish, but you would click publish and then download, and you end up with a final video that you can upload to your course platform. And that's everything in Descript. I use for the course platform something called New Zenler. And just to show you really quickly, in any of these courses, when you start a course and you're in the curriculum, you can add video. That's where you would upload your video. So you set up all your structure for your course to match up with the course book and your slides. You'd upload the video. You could upload the cheat sheet and certainly the action guide as a PDF. And you can add those quizzes as well. So there's all those different options. And then you're ready to go. Remember, you also have those lead generation materials for building an audience. I mentioned those before, and I showed you the challenge. I talked about the quizzes. Then I did say there's the SWOT analysis workshop as well. Before I show you the SWOT analysis workshop, here again is that link to the course. That's how to stand out in a crowded market. So you'll see that in here with the early bird special and lots of places to add to your cart. And then let's hop over to that SWOT analysis workshop. So as I added to the cart, I showed you, you have the quizzes, you have the SWOT analysis workshop, and there's some other things that can be valuable add-ons, things like our planner for how to create your unique value proposition. That can be a great bonus for this course because it's a full planner that'll go into much more detail on creating a UVP. Same with ideal customer profile. That's a big course. So if people are having trouble with that part of this course, then that's another one you can add on. Same with marketing message. This is really targeted, each module, for standing out and working with an existing business. If people are having more trouble, they have less experience, then consider adding those and you'll have a series right away of things and that people can go through. So let's look at that SWOT analysis workshop. There's a description of it here, and I will show you the materials as well. There's a little highlight there and a listing of what's in it. Let's go over to the actual folder. So in the SWOT analysis workshop, there's docs, Word documents that have everything. The slides are in Canva, and the student workbook is in both Canva and a Word doc. The thing you're going to want to look at first is the facilitator instructions, because what that has for you is a description of how you would run this workshop in 3 different ways. You could do it as a live group workshop where you divide people up into small groups and they work together on a case study and perform a SWOT analysis on that case study. So it's giving them extra skills. There's also an individual workshop. So you can do the exact same thing and have individuals work on their own and then come back together to talk about their findings and their recommendations. Those are the 2 main ways to do this, and that's with the slides. But you could make it a self-study option as well, and there's a description there on how you would do that. And then there's an outline of the workshop itself, including notes you can use as a guide for your script that go along with the slides. There's different sections in here, an introduction, talking about the basics of SWOT analysis. This is a good add-on for that module where I showed you that they do a SWOT analysis and SMART goals. You can add a bonus workshop where they get extra practice for people that don't have as much experience, or just as a bonus. And you'll see it walks through at a high level what the different parts of a SWOT analysis are and how you can do it. And then the fact that the task in the workshop is to work together or individually, depending on how you're running it, on a case study. And it has it, option A is the group, option B, individual. It'll make more sense, I think, when I show you the slides and the workbook. That's all the facilitator instructions. The slide text is here. That's just an outline if you want to put it into another slideshow program. There's the case study scenario, a facilitator version And what that has is the case study that your students get, your group workshop members, and then some answers for you as suggested answers for SWOT analysis. What are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats for this case study, and some possible strategies. The case study is something called Elegant Events by Emma. What you can do with this to make it tailored to your audience's industry is to just copy that, put it into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini and say, I want the exact same format and flow and elements of this case study, but for X industry, say real estate brokers or for social media consultants, whatever it may be. And if you tell it to follow the exact same flow, have the same element and the same style, it will do that for you. And you can tell it all the different things. Of course, you're going to have to go in and edit it, but we've already done the flow and all the contents there for you so that you have an example that you can give to whatever AI tool you like to use. That's a really great way to use those AI tools, just to get examples, case studies for a different industry based on a case study or example that you already have. And just make sure you tell it to follow that flow. There's examples there. And the student workbook is in a Word document or in Canva. Let me show you it first in the Word document. It's got all the places for them to fill in their answers, key takeaways, their SWOT analysis, all of that stuff you're going to give to them during the workshop or just before. And if I go into Canva, here are the slides. You'll get a link in a PDF to use this as a template. So you make a copy of it. You can put your business name in and edit this any way you want. But we've already put it into one of the Canva designs so that it looks nice and you don't need to do much with it. It's not a huge number of slides, which is good. I think there are 24, and they follow along with each part of that student workbook and your facilitator instructions. And then you have the student workbook, which again, you would brand, make your own design of, and convert into a PDF that they need to print off and use during the workshop. That's the SWOT analysis that you can add on. The last thing I'm going to show you is the early bird bonus. You will only get if you grab your license to the full Standout in a Crowded Market course in the next few days. It comes in a Word document and in Canva, and it is called Technology Toolkit to Enhance Your Customer Experience. What this does is have people ask a certain number of questions of themselves about their customer experience, and then help them choose the technology that's going to help them enhance their customer experience. It goes through top 10 tools and the purpose and benefit of each. So there are different notes in there, but it also has them ask questions of themselves for each one. Is it scalable? Does it integrate with my other tech? All the different things as they research the tools that they need to do. That's a really helpful handout, bonus, lead magnet of its own, whatever you want to do with it, but it's not for sale separately. So if you want that, you have to get the course in the next few days. And that really is everything now. That's the URL for the page on how to stand out in a crowded market. And it is 67% off right now during the launch with an early bird bonus if you get it in the first few days. Remember to let me know if you have any questions at all. You can contact us at support@contentsparks.com. We get back to you as fast as we can. I hope you enjoy this course. I think it's really important for everyone right now. People are really struggling with crowded markets and competition and changing markets, and they need to take a look again at what they need to do to revitalize and improve their sales and be different. That's the key, be different. Take care now.